Morning, everybody. Sorry we're getting a little bit late start. I see we have two viewers already. That's terrific. It's absolutely great. We want to make sure that you share this with other people before we get going and let other people know that this is what we're doing here. I want to start by just taking a moment for each person. We all have our own belief systems and what we use for higher powers or source or whatever you want to call it. Let's just take a moment for each and everybody to say a silent discussion with your whatever your higher power is. Um, so let's just take a moment of silence here, and each one of us connect with whomever we consider our higher power. Now let's take another moment and just relax and sort of go into a mini meditation, if you please. I'm going to try and relax you a little bit. So let's just close your eyes. Take a moment just to see whatever it is that we might want to be brought to us today. So let's start at the top of your head and just relax your scalp, relax your temples. Do this with each breath out as you relax. Take a breath in and relax each part of your body as we go out, as you breathe out. And then we'll go ahead and take that crease out from in between your eyes over your forehead. Relax your eyes and your cheekbones. Relax your jaw and drop your tongue down to the bottom of your mouth and relax your tongue into your mouth. Go back and relax your neck. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears as you relax them. Relax your upper arms, your elbows and forearms, your wrists, hands, and fingers. Let's relax your upper chest. Relax your upper back. Let's go down and relax our bellies and our lower back. As you relax your hips and your buttocks, don't force yourself into whatever you're sitting on. Just relax into it and just sink into whatever the cushion is or whatever it is you're sitting on. Then relax your legs, your thighs, your knees, your lower legs, ankles, feet, and toes. Take a moment to do this and then just go into seeing what it is that you're brought to you now that you have talked to your higher power. Just let it go into whatever it is that needs to be brought out today to help you get through this day and relax into the message that we might want to bring out today. where you might be right now. Come back to the gathering. Come back to the gathering so that we can now proceed and give myself to the universe for today. So really what we're going to talk about today, first I want to mention that that wasn't a very long time for any kind of meditation, and I understand that. So please, in your comments, tell us how long you want that to be, shorter, longer, if it was perfect the way it was. Let me know, because I don't know what you want. We're just getting started with this, and so we want to know exactly where you're wanting to go. So make some comments on the screen. It's very important to us to know where you're wanting to go, where you are. You can always, we'll give you, if you look in the description after this is done, we'll give you an email address that you can email so that you can get in touch with the church, with other ideas and so forth. But today we want to talk just briefly about being where you're at, starting where you're at. And the first thing I want to say is we don't want to compare ourselves to anybody else. We are all where we're supposed to be spiritually, and we are all growing. Spirituality is a constant evolution. It is not stagnant. You don't get somewhere and say, I'm done. It's constant evolution. So where you are today is exactly where you're supposed to be. And if that's where you're supposed to be and want to grow, then you're in the right place, because this will help you to grow if you choose to use the resources that are available to you. There are many, many resources, from books to videos like this to other videos online, other videos on TV. And so I just want to bring out that spiritual seeking, as I call it, is a constant thing, and we oftentimes need the encouragement from other people who are doing the seeking to continue on. We have so many things that are bombarding us out in the world that we lose track of what we're doing spiritually, and we're still trying to work in an egotistical third dimensional world that we want to continue to stay encouraged. And one of the ways to stay encouraged, of course, is to find like-minded people, open-minded people that are will encourage you and not discourage you. It is said that a spiritual path like this is an alone path. Well, the meaning of that has different aspects to it. Number one, nobody is where you're at, so therefore you are alone with who you are. That's why it is so important to contact and get in touch with guides, spiritual angels, higher powers, spirit within yourself, and have those contacts. It's also an alone path because we have so many outside forces that want us to not do what we're doing that it becomes very alone, and people don't understand us from the outside world. So we want to make sure that we find the people who encourage us instead of discourage us. We don't want to constantly be in a group of people that are not of our thinking. We always have to have those people, and we don't want to judge them for where they are, because they are where they belong. They are where they're supposed to be. We're not here to wake them up. We're not here to show our experiences to them. We're here to encourage the people who are like-minded to us, who are open-minded and want this process. It is once said that you never want to you never want to wake up a sleepwalker, but once you're awake, then it's okay. But a sleepwalker is very disoriented and can actually do harm to themselves if they're awakened in the wrong way. Let their higher power awaken them. Let their spirit guides awaken them. Let them come up with their own way. Then when they come to us or you, then we can help them. So we're not here to wake anybody up. We're here to help the people who are awakening or are already awake. We're not trying, we don't want to do that. So those are the kinds of people that we can't judge though, because we don't know why they're what they're here on earth for. Everybody has their own path on this earth. Everybody needs to be here for whatever reason they are here for. Um, there's nobody above or below us. We're all equal, no matter where we are in this relationship with this world. We have to have, as I always tell people, we have to have the dishwashers as much as we have to have the executives, and they're all just as important. I drove for a living, professionally for a living for many, many years, and I did not expect the CEO of my company to even know how to drive a truck. But if he wasn't there, I wouldn't have a job. So we all have to have our own aspects. We just have to be understanding and acceptable to what they are. And with that said, I hope we're getting some comments here so that we can have more of a discussion today. We're actually scheduled in this gathering for an hour, but we cut it short last time because we had no comments to continue on with, and that may happen again today if we don't get some comments. We'll continue this, however, and this is an every 2 week situation for right now. I'll go into that a little bit more at the end, but just wanted to mention that right now. We are hoping we are our plan here is to help raise the consciousness of the world and the universe. And we all have to play our part in it. And that's why it is so important that we understand what my message is today about we are where we're supposed to be. Um, as we continue through this path, we don't oftentimes even see the progress we're making. And I know that when I started an intensive path on this situation, I didn't see any changes. And I went to dinner with a friend one time and they said, Keith, you've changed. And then I started looking back at how I was and how I was then, which was several years ago, many years ago, and realized, yeah, in hindsight, I can um, see my changes. But right now, I cannot see any changes because I'm in the situation. So I don't see the changes that are happening. It's like blinded by the forest, that you can't see the forest for the trees. Um, but when I look back, I can see all those trees. I can see all the changes. I can see all the different things that have happened with all these things. So don't be discouraged because you don't feel like you're making it go anywhere. Another little situation I would like to experience, should say that I like to bring out to you is that I had done a lot of spiritual work, and all of a sudden, it didn't seem like I was doing anything for 3 months. Nothing. I wasn't reading. Wasn't. I mean, I was still doing my prayers. I was still doing my meditations, but I wasn't. Didn't feel like I was really doing my um, process. And then I was guided to me. It was told to me that that what I was doing was internalizing. I was bringing out what I had been doing. I had been had such an intensive study system going on that I needed that time to sort of digest everything that had happened. So I was really working with it. I just wasn't seeing it because I had to have that time off. Now, that's only happened to me once, but I was pretty intensive at that point. Um, I've been doing this a long, long time, and I really, well, I've been sort of feeling like I belonged in something different since I was a child. But my intensive stuff started about 9 years ago. I had it was put on a 10-year intensive spiritual development path and my 10 years will be up this in February. Not to say I'm going to stop. It just means that's what the directive was from spirit to me. I will never stop doing this. I'll probably never stop being as intensive as I am. But that's what I was directed to in order to get myself into a more spiritual pattern of where I could really go with all these different aspects out there. There's a plethora of information out there, but we have to understand that we don't want it all in our heads. We need to bring it to our hearts. And our heart is where the knowing is, not where not in the head. Head is knowledge, heart is knowing. And I can tell you all kinds of things about in my head, and not everything has been brought down to my heart yet. So, but if you know something, if you just know something is the way it's supposed to be, that this is the spiritual way of it, and you just without any explanation. We had a person here just a couple of days ago that was talking to someone in this community that said, "But I'm trying to figure out how to do this, why it happened, how do I know this?" And the answer was given to her, because you know it. You don't have to know up here why or how you know it. You just know it in your heart, and that's all that matters. And that's a true knowing. And that's what we really are trying to get to. When you bring it into your heart, you're bringing it into love. Bringing it in as love, and you're putting it out as love. That is very, very important. That is, as one person told me, and I have already had known this or already had this done. Love is not a feeling. Love is a state of being. So if you really know it in your heart, you're putting it in and out through love. I do Reiki through the ministry. And when I do Reiki, I bring the energies, the universal energies in to my heart and put them out from my heart and let them let the love flow through my hands into the person that I am channeling the Reiki to. And that's the idea here. We need to do it with love. We need to heal with love. We need to act with love. Love is a state of being. So I'm being told that we have a question online. Is it something we can entertain today? How do I start my own spiritual path? If you're here, you've already started it. If you are already questioning or trying to find a way, that means you have already started your path. Um, that's always the biggest thing that people want to say is, well, I want to do some action. Well, the first thing you can do now that you have started your path, you want to go somewhere, then you need to find books that resonate with you. And I will tell you, and I believe I said this in the last time we had this gathering, don't throw anything away. If you start reading a book like Edgar Tolle, if you start reading a book um, from, like, say, Mary Summerrain, or if you start reading any books and they don't make sense to you or they don't resonate with you, you don't say never will I ever be a part of this. You say, I'll set it aside and maybe it'll come back around to me. That's happened to me many, many times. So the first thing to do is find someone. We can work with people on Zoom as with spiritual counseling, spiritual mentoring. I can work with people on Zoom. If anybody chooses to um, um, get a hold of us via email, we can set something up and we can discuss where you are, where you're wanting to go, how you're wanting to go, how you're wanting to get there, and you can ask all the questions you want. Um, it's free. We only take a donation for anything we offer, and that all goes into the ministry. It does not go into my pocket. All this goes into the church itself, so that we can help to do other things with this church other than just have this YouTube um, ministry. We want to be able to build our own spiritual center and so forth, but that's off the subject right now. Point is that, and I'll give it to you, it's fellowship at goodheartchurch.org. And like I said, we'll put it in the description below when we're all done. We can't put it in while we're online live. We have to put it in after the fact. At least we think so. We're not real good at this yet. um, and request something, and we will do it. We'll have a website up that'll show all those things that you can schedule. Right now, we don't have that available. We're just getting started. So, so to answer that question, do whatever. Feel what's in your gut. Feel what's right here telling you what to do. That's your intuition, your gut feeling, and go from that. Don't go from up here. Go from your gut feeling. Go from your heart. And if you choose to contact me to get any further information or have a Zoom call or a Zoom conference, just email us and let me know, and we'll get something set up. So I hope that answers the question on that on how to start your spiritual path. But the most important thing I want to point out to that question is you've already started it because you're already here, and that's the most important thing to that question. And that is a good question. I will ponder that and bring that out a little bit more for the next one. And by the way, our next gathering will be August 3rd at 10 p.m. Mountain Time or 10 a.m. Mountain Time. What do you mean p.m.? 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and we'll try to get online on time. We had to figure this out because we have never done it on this channel, and I scheduled it, and we had some issues. So I tried it. We were about 5 minutes late getting started today. But yeah, I'll ponder that over the next couple of weeks and see if I can come up with some other ideas. Hopefully, some people will give us comments because this does stay on YouTube and you can watch it later. So other people do watch this after the live show is over, and we can hopefully get comments from them too and see where they are. Let's remember that you are where you're supposed to be, and if you take one step forward in your spiritual path, you're already going forward. So asking the question, being here today is all part of that one step forward. So, do we have any other questions? Sure. We have one from the inside the room here, folks.
Best way to support each other and our whole experience as humanity with the split in reality that we're seeing in all aspects of our life.
Okay, well, so I don't know if anybody heard the question because I'm the only one with the microphone on. So you want to know how do we support other people and bringing these things out to people in this world with the split in the split in the society of today? Is that correct?
Basically, splitting the reality.
the spitting in realities. And let's remember that there are changes coming. Um, we won't get into that real far today, but there are changes happening to this earth, and there will be a new earth. But the biggest thing I can say that we can do, comes right back to what I just said, is to show your love, and let it come out in your aura. Don't judge people. They're here for what they're supposed to be. We cannot, I've said this many, many times. I used to live on a street called Grand Avenue. We cannot have a new Grand Avenue unless we destroy the old. So that's where the confusion sometimes comes from, that we think that some of this stuff is bad when it isn't. We have to have something torn down in order to recreate or create the new earth. So the best thing we can do is things like what I'm doing. That's one of the reasons why I started this, was to bring out the fact that we're going to be okay as this duality, as this reality changes. As long as we are working with spirit, we're going to be okay. Even the ones that may not be working with spirit are going to be okay, because our spirit doesn't die. They're just going to learn something from their experience. Um, but by far, the best thing to do in any situation is to get direction through your higher power, through spirit, as to what you are to do personally and how you are to work with others in these situations. And I know that love is involved, because love is what is the universal being. Light, love, and peace are all there. You have joy, compassion, love, but love is by far the greatest. And if we don't judge people, if we don't judge situations and just state the facts of those situations, then we come into better acceptance and awareness of what's going on. We have to look at things sometimes in a little different fashion than what we believe in, and know that those people have the rights to their way of thinking, their way of belief. I don't know if I'm answering your question at all.
Sure.
Okay. Because when the new earth comes, and I wasn't going to mention this today until it was brought up, but I want to make sure that everybody understands, so that when I say there's a new earth coming, I'm not going to ever be able to give you a time when things are going to change. We have what we call free will on this earth, and we have what we call I just lost it. A collective conscious and a collective free will. And because of that collective free will and the individual free will we have, it can change the probabilities and possibilities of when things happen. It isn't going to change the fact that they're going to happen. It might exacerbate it and bring it in faster, or it might retard it and take it out longer. So I'm not a prophet that can say December 22nd of 2032, something's going to happen. It doesn't work that way, because I can change my mind, and that can help to change, and you can change your mind, and we all change this mind together, and then something's going to change with when it's going to happen. But it will happen. It will not be. Um, I mean, if we were going to put a date on it, we would all be very foolish, just because we need to know. We don't know when it's going to happen. We don't know when the next person is going to do something that's going to change it, or when somebody else is going to do something that's going to change that person's mind, that's going to make a difference in it. So we cannot, the collective consciousness and the individual consciousness are very important in that matter. But the changes will happen. The new earth will happen. And we have to continue to love each other for what they are, for what we are, who we are, and not judge. So, are we getting any other comments or anything that we should be mentioning?
Going a little bit deeper when you said that we don't know when somebody might do something to make a change. You're implying that anybody, no matter how small they are in the world, can make the entire change that's coming, delayed, sped up, different than it would otherwise be.
And that's sort of true. That's very true. We all have, because none of us are more important than the other, we all have an act in this. We are all part of this. And so what happens is a person that doesn't realize how much power they have makes a decision to join this group of people that are not necessarily who we think they should be. And then that group gets bigger. So that group gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that one person, if that one person hadn't decided to go, it wouldn't be that big. So that changes the whole collective consciousness. Now that might be for the better, it might be it might be for destruction, it might be for construction. And the leader of that, we give them that power, whoever that leader is, whether it be a political figure or whether it be a CEO or whatever, we give that person the power by joining their thinking, their way of thinking. So, in that manner, yes, each person has a say so because I can join with this person's group or I can join with this person's group. And each person that joins creates more of the collective consciousness in that area. The collective consciousness then will help to veer that over. So we all have our part in that. And you were going to say,
Can you talk about full thoughts more?
okay, well, that might be a whole, yeah, that could be an entire thing. Thoughts. I don't know how to. Let me think about this for a minute. How to bring this out? Can you hear my thoughts? Thoughts are everything is energy. Everything in the world is energy. Everything in the universe is energy. And that includes thoughts. So when a person says, I'm no good, or they think that I'm no good, that thought is very powerful in them. And they decide and they start acting that they're no good. If they start thinking that I can do this and I need to do it this way, or I need this kind of help, those thoughts also bring it up. But thoughts of any kind are so powerful that we do actually, according to many people's schools of thought, when we have many people having the same types of thoughts, we actually can say, oh, we're controlling the weather because the weather is reacting to our bad thoughts or our good thoughts. We can create thunderstorms in an area that never gets them because everybody's angry about what's going on in the world, or everybody's so elated about what's going on in the world that we can bring it on these beautiful flowers and beautiful fruits and beautiful harvests by having the right weather. So thoughts are very powerful, and I don't know if anybody's ever that's listening right now has ever really considered this, but I don't know anybody who has not thought about somebody and then that person calls them on the phone or finishes somebody else's sentence because not because they know what they're going to say, but because the thought there's actually a telepathic pass through between them, or just act. There are many times that I've had where I'll say, "Well, I'm gonna," and then whatever it is, and the person right beside me will say, "I was just thinking about that," and that's what we're gonna do. So thoughts can be transposed. I mean, thoughts are. I don't even know how to explain it exactly right now because it is a subject of its own. But just be aware that thoughts are very, very powerful, because they are energy, and they are not brought to you by your brain. They are brought to you by your mind. They are brought to you by your intuition. And I'll just very briefly mention that mind thing. The mind is not of the body. The mind is, and a lot of people will disagree with me on this, and that's fine. But mind is part of your consciousness. Your consciousness does not live in your body. Your brain is a mechanical part, so to speak, that translates your mind into what you do as a person. And I'll give you a reason I can say that is if you have a near death experience and you ever see somebody or watched a person that talks about their near death experience and they are brain dead in the hospital, but yet they remember everything that happened when they were out of their body, down to a finite detail. There is no way for them to remember that if their mind is in their brain. Just can't happen, in my opinion. So the mind is of spirit, of consciousness, not of the brain. Our thoughts our thoughts go both ways. We think because we're taught in the human form, and we put those thoughts into spirit. Spirit puts thoughts back into us and helps us to determine, and our brain does the mechanics of it and doing the reasoning and the this and the that we have to do in the third dimensional world. Keeping in mind that a lot of this stuff happens because we're in the third dimensional world, not because we're not capable of doing other things. We are huge, powerful spirits that can do a lot more than what our bodies allow us to do, and we can do a lot more even with what our bodies. We just dumb it down. Spirit doesn't dumb it down. We dumb it down while we're in this, and that's because of all these pressures, from societal pressure to spiritual pressure to religious pressure to government pressure to peer pressure to all these pressures, from societal pressure to spiritual pressure to religious pressure to government pressure to peer pressure to parental pressure to sibling pressures. All these pressures come in on us and help us to dumb down what we can really accomplish, because my grass has to be as good as the grass over next door. I have to have the best car. I can't have this. I'm taught that the imaginary friends that I had as a child were not spirits, that they were just imaginary friends that was in my head. You know, we're taught all these things, and these are all the pressures that dumb us down in a spiritual sense. So, does that any other things we want to touch on today? I don't even know what time it is. Absolutely. If a destructive if a thought that says that I'm no good is powerful enough to tell you yourself no good and become a person that doesn't accomplish anything, then it's just the same. I mean, when you talk positive thoughts, when you say I am the best person in the world, when I am this, I am that, then they are just as powerful. We just have to remember that it's like feeding the good wolf, the white wolf, or feeding the dark wolf. If you say too many times that you're no good, then you're going to start believing that. The more you feed the light wolf, the more you feed to say that I am this person, I can do these things, the more you will do that. Um, so you're going to be whichever wolf you feed is going to be who you are. So one is as powerful as the other, but the one you feed the most is going to take over. And that's why spiritual seeking is not just a Sunday morning thing. Spiritual seeking is every day as often as you can. So you're feeding that light wolf. Because if you're not feeding the light wolf spiritually, what are you feeding? If you're not praying, if you're not meditating, if you're not studying to follow to increase and to experience a better, higher vibrational being and becoming a higher spiritually, if you're not doing that, what are you doing? You're going backwards. If you're standing still, you're going backwards because everybody else is going right on along by you. So it's not a Sunday morning 1 hour, 45-minute situation. It's something that you do all the time, every day. As I used to say, and I still do say, be spiritual in everything you do, not just in what you're doing right now. Everything you do should be spiritual because everything we have out here is part of spirit. There's spirit in every tree and every rock and every ocean, every fish. So spirit is in everything. So we need to be spiritual too. We are not a body with a spirit. We are a spirit with a body. We are spirit first, and then came into this avatar and body. That answer your question?
Yes.
There's a lot of videos on YouTube about manifestation.
Yes.
If the thoughts are so powerful, why, when I think that I should be able to be wealthy, does it not happen?
Because thoughts, and you have to have the feeling that goes with it. You have to have, and this is what I've read. I think that I have done well at manifesting this ministry, this church. This has been going on with me for some time, and I knew that it would take time. Um, and I know that it will grow the way it's supposed to grow. Sometimes when we talk about the manifestations of third dimensional things, we don't really have the aptitude or the ambition to create to want them. Deep down, we don't have that, and we don't have the feelings because that go with it. And it is said that if you want to manifest something, you have to be able to feel the feeling that you would have if that happened. And if you can't feel that feeling, you're not going to manifest it. That's what's being told to me. Now, this is only out of my head. This is not out of my heart. I want to make sure you guys understand that because um, feelings are a very tough thing for a lot of people, and so therefore it is something and sometimes I should say maybe it's not part of your path and you're not supposed to have it. It's a third dimensional envious thing that you're wanting, but your spirit's telling you different because you're supposed to be on a different path. When we go down this spiritual path, we oftentimes go down these branches of the road that we learn from, but we're learning what not to be, what not to do, what we don't want, not necessarily where we're going. We have to learn both sides of the story. We can't just be part of, I mean, if you were happy all the time, you wouldn't know what sadness was. If you didn't have, if you don't have wants that don't come true, you wouldn't appreciate the wants that do come true. So sometimes we're not even supposed to be. We're being veered off, and as I call in our household, we call it being hit over the head with a frying pan by our higher power, because we're going down the wrong branch of the path. And so, we only need needs. We don't need wants. And so sometimes we're not as passionate as we really should be to do it. And we still have to. That's the other thing we want to bring out here, is that when you manifest something, it's not just about thoughts and feelings. It's also about doing the footwork. It's also about doing the footwork to accomplish this. It just doesn't appear. We're not in the sixth or seventh dimension when you say, I want an apple, and it comes into your hand. We have to do the footwork to get to where we want to be. I've spent years doing this so I could have this church. I've spent when I worked with sheep, I was a shepherd for 25 years as a young man, and I spent all my time learning everything I could about that to be the best shepherd I could be. Same thing with my truck driving. But you can only do, you only have a little bit of footwork. There has to be a lot of footwork to go along with this. I couldn't be the best shepherd by just saying I'm going to be the best shepherd. I had to do the footwork. I had to go to school. I had to do reading. I had to experience open range. I had to experience farm flock. I had to experience lambing. I had to experience sheep shearing. I had to do all that footwork. It doesn't just happen. It just didn't become a good shepherd, excuse the language, over overnight. So, with that said, we have to have footwork, emotion, or feelings, and thoughts, all for manifestation. So, where are we at now? 12 minutes. Well, let's just take a few minutes and say, if nobody else puts up a comment here in the next few minutes, let's say, make sure you share this with your folks, with your friends, with whomever, so that we can have a bigger church, so we can get this message out to more people. Subscribe, ring the bell, because when you ring the bell, I'm assuming that when I schedule a live YouTube, you'll be notified as I schedule it when you ring the bell. So it doesn't cost a thing. Ring the bell, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, share it, and add comments. And fellowship at goodheartchurch.org if you want to get more involved with having an individual sessions. There are other things coming on. The website will be, and I say will be, it's not set up yet. Hopefully it'll be up within the next individual sessions. There are other things coming on. The website will be, and I say will be, it's not set up yet. Hopefully it'll be up within the next 30 to 45 days. It will be goodheartchurch.org. So bring this out to people, let people know. If I'm forgetting anything, I'll try to remember to put it on the next time. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and end this, but before we end it completely, I'd like you to take a moment and just silently reflect on everything that you might have heard today, and bring out to other people. You don't have to do it while we're on live. Just take a moment after this is over and silently reflect on everything that we're doing here. So, August 3rd, next gathering. Until then, be spiritual in everything you do. We are done.